recording? Yeah.
Thank you very much, Preetham. Welcome, everyone. Today we are here with our Git developer session, and Preetham and Chinmay will join me in this session. Basically, we are planning to do two sessions on Git. This session will be the beginner session, and the second one will be the advanced session. In the beginner session, we will talk a little bit about VCS and advantages of VCS. Basically, we will talk about the Git and terminologies, and then its usage on the computer. I still remember the time when I was in college and when we were doing the development in our computer. And if you have to share your code, then you were having the option of floppy drive, CDs, and LAN card were the only option available to us. The internet was very slow and also very costly. But nowadays, the internet is very reliable, very fast, cost effective, and we can say that businesses cannot operate in its absence. So, if you wish to do collaborative development, then there is a need of version control system. First of all, let's talk about what is version control system. Chinmay or Preetham, can you please help me on this?
Sure, I will take this opportunity. Thanks, Ashish. As we are having a session on the Git and it's a version control system, so I will break those three words into two. First is the control system. So, what is actually a control system? So, with the control system, it means that it's a content tracker, and generally in the development field, software development field, we use it more for the for storing the code. uh, and the another word is the version control system. So the code which we keep in our control system, it changes every hour, or I can say every minute. It keeps changing a lot. So as the time goes, the code grows a lot. And also we are all familiar that at a particular instance, many developers are parallelly working on the same code or on the same systems. So it will be involving a lot of people. So for that, a version controlling system is required, so that managing this much of multiple efforts, that's the part of a version control system. So yeah, Ashish, back to you. That as I have introduced as I have defined that what actually a version control system is. Yeah, Ashish, back to you.
Yeah. So I think we lost Ashish in between. So yeah, we'll continue on this. Talking about why we need the version control systems. So the first thing which Ashish has already told, that is the collaboration. So version control system makes collaboration very easy. So multiple teams or multiple people can collaborate on a single code base, so that they can work on a common project and work as they want and push the code and see the changes and effects. So collaboration is more important when we are working in an organization, uh, IT organization. So that's why the first point for using the version control system is to collaborate within the teams and the people. And the second most important point is to track and revert the changes. So this happens many times, like whenever we do some code changes, we have to revert them back because of some certain dependencies or any other problems. So the reverting changes become easy when we use the version control systems, and as well as the tracking. So for tracking, I would say, like we can track each line of the code, like why it was changed, and who changed that line of code, and what was the purpose behind that, so that we can go back and check if we want to revert these or continue or merge it to the different branches or not. So these are the points because of which using the version control system is, I guess, uh, required in any IT organization. So yeah, so these are the points because of which we use the version control system. Generally, there are a lot of version control systems available, like SVN, Git, and VCS, etc. So, in general, in current scenario, the Git is most popular version control system, which is being used in overall IT development. So we'll talk more about the Git. Uh, that is, so Git is actually a distributed version control system. So uh, yeah, in distributed version control system, what happens is, like, there is one common server at which we put our code, and the users or the developers who want to use that code uh, take the copy of that code on their local machines, and then work on it, and then push the changes in the form of a difference. So that's why we call it as a distributed version control system. So yeah, why to use Git? So the advantages of using Git are, like, the Git is fast, so access to the information is very quick and efficient. Then it is distributed, so everyone has their own repositories with them, so that they can work independently, and then create the merge requests, and then can push the code to the same repository. Then it's scalable also, so it enables thousands of developers, maybe more than that, to work collaboratively on or collaborate on the single project without any friction. Then it's a local, so you don't need any internet connection when you are using it on your local machine, until and unless if you want to share the code with others, or you want to push it to the common repository. Then
So
only
yeah,
you need
Priyam,
the internet connection.
we
Yeah,
can say that each developer has its own copy of the code. So
right.
with the local what we are referring here.
Yeah, so each developer
Yeah.
has a local copy, and he can work on the code without internet. So he doesn't need the internet when he clones the repository on his local machine. So after cloning, he'll not need the internet until and unless
Right.
he
He can
want.
work independently.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
if you want to push the changes to the central repository or share the code with others, then and then only he will need the internet. So this
Right.
is one more benefit of using Git. Then we have a concept in Git, like branches. So you can create the different branches and work on those branches. So in general, can you jump in, Chinmay, how is the general branch structure we use in common development procedure? Like we use master and then develop, and then you can explain that.
Sure. So yeah, the remote branch, as you said earlier, that we are having a remote branch or a, a server on the cloud, which is actually maintaining uh, the repository. So that's the master, I would say. And it can be the Git codes. This control system can be. We can say that we can assume it like a tree, that it can have a multiple of like a tree has a multiple of branches. It can have multiple branches too, and they contain. they can contain the same content. They can have the same content or a different one. They can resemble with each other or not. That's totally independent. And yeah, so as you said that to elaborate the branches, so yeah, I would say that generally we follow that the branch which is actually used in any kind of deployment. Like you do have a development environment, you do have a staging environment and production environment. I hope our audience is familiar with those terms. So we can refer a branch for it. We can have a branch for it, like the one which are we are using for the production, and it could be different to the staging one. So
Right.
let us take, yeah. So that's way the branches are helpful, and that's the way we implement those.
Yeah. So the general structure we can say is like the master branch is there, which is protected, so you cannot directly push the changes into that branch, and that is the production branch. We can say that is deployed on the production. Then we will make a copy of that, which we call it as the develop branch, over which we continuously develop some new features or new and and the bugs, or we fix the bugs over there and put the changes on the develop branch. That develop branch is deployed on staging so that the QA team can test on that branch. So in this way we can use the branch concept of Git so that we can have a different copies, and we can smooth out the experience of developing a common project.
So yeah, so earlier we said that versioning. So that versioning is actually implemented using branches. So
Right.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. So the next most important feature of Git is the history. So you can trace the history, or it maintains the change history of the code, and it helps in reverting the changes if anything goes wrong, or also helps a lot in project management. So these are all the benefits of using Git, or the features of Git. So I think we can talk about something about the Git terminology. So we are talking about the repository. So what is repository? So it is a place where you keep all your files and make a copy of. Like it can be a central server or something like that, or the root project of your folder. Sorry, root folder of your project. You can say this, we can call it as a repository. Then branches, as we discussed, we can have separate development line of development, like develop or master or something like that. So uh, we can call that as a branch, and each branch has its own history, and that can be merged, or we can take out the difference between two branches and compare those two branches. Then, what is clone? So, clone is creating the copy of remote repository on your local machine. So, this is the terminology which we generally use, that clone this repository on your local machine, or that. So, clone is used in that way. Then
And
we
in the
have,
clone, you're having a separate copy of yours. So it's a
right,
completely,
right.
yeah,
So, it will create a separate copy of remote repository on your local machine.
yes.
Yeah. So next is the most commonly used terminology is commit. So what is commit? So it is the object that holds the information about particular change in the code base. So whatever you change, uh, and you can see the difference between the remote branch and what you have developed on your local machine. So and you will push that as a commit. So in this way the commit terminology can be defined. Then there are common terminologies like pull and push. So those stands for pull stands for pulling the changes from the repository and merging it with the local copy, and push stands for pushing the difference to the remote repository from the local copy. So these are the terms that we commonly use, that is pull and
So
push.
you
Yeah,
generally push a commit to a server, right?
yeah. So push is generally after we do the commit on the local branch, we'll push the difference between the local branch and the remote repository to the remote repository. So we use push for that. Then one more terminology which we use is checkout. So it's an act of switching branches from one to another in same repository. We say, like we are checking out from master to developer, develop to feature branch or something like that. So yeah, these are all the Git terminologies which we have. So do you have anything to add, Chinmay?
No, I think we are all good. It would be more better that if we have talked a lot on theory and we can have a hands-on on all the things which we have just discussed.
Yeah, so whatever we have discussed, we'll have a quick demo of that. So we'll be using GitHub for that. So GitHub provides you free repositories, or which you can create a repository and push your code for free. So those are public repositories mainly. So if you want to have the private repositories, so you have to pay for that. So right now, let's use the Git. Let me share my screen. I hope it is visible.
Yes.
Yeah. So here, what I've done is I have created an account on GitHub.com, and I've logged in to the account. So let's go and create the repository over here. So you can see the repositories over here. These are my previous repositories. I'll create a new one. Clicking on new button. I will say suppose git demo. So you can add the description, it's optional. So if you want to make the repository as private, you can do it from here. I'll keep it public for now. And these are some default settings, like if you want to add the readme file or git ignore file, so you can check these boxes. I'll keep that as it is and proceed for creating the repository. So yeah, you can see the repository is created inside my Git account. So the repository name is Git demo. So you can see all the instructions are already there. How you can clone the repository on your local machine, or if you want to push the already you have some changes and you want to push that into this repository, how you can do that. So let's go ahead and check this out on the local uh, machine. So I'll use this HTTP. I'll copy this path and go to the console. I'll switch to desktop
So yeah,
and
essentially what Pritam has created the repository on the remote, and now he's actually taking a clone of that repo on his local machine.
right. So I'll clone this repository on local machine. I'll give the name as git demo. Yeah. So you can see the repository is cloned, and I'll see get into that repository, and you can see the content is empty over here. So there are no
Right.
changes. So if we see over here, yeah, so there is no change over here. So the clone is also not having any change. So
So,
yes.
Preetham, I would like to add one thing here. whenever you are cloning the repository from the GitHub, there is a concept of private key, like when you clone the repository, then it will ask you the username and password. So
Yes.
details here, so that anyone who is doing the check command itself, it will ask. So we can do that setting in the GitHub, and that setting will be used here. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah. So generally that happens with the private repositories. So right now we have made it public repository. So public repositories can be cloned directly. There will not be any need of adding the username and password.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have cloned that. There is one command over here which you can see is git branch. Sorry. Uh, yeah, sorry. So we'll need to push some code and we'll do that afterwards. So I'll go and add the one file over here. I'm creating one text file and adding some content. Yeah, so you can see I have one text file over here. So I'll say git status. Sorry, git status. Yeah. So you can see that this particular repository is on master branch. So whenever you clone any repository, that is by default on master branch, and you can see that the changes are in the red text over here. So this is the new file we have, which is there on the local repository, but not on the remote repository. So that's why the Git is showing it in red color. So um, yeah, these are the changes we have done, and we want to push these changes to the uh, remote repository. So for that, what we will need to do is like we need to uh, add this file. So I'll use git add and the file name. So I've added that to the local repository. I'll again do the git status, and you can see that file is added as a new file, and the text color changes to green. And we are still on the master branch, and we want to push the changes to the master branch only. So I'll go ahead and the next command is git commit. That is, I'm committing these changes to the local repository. So git commit and hyphen m. So hyphen m stands for message. So we want to keep some message to this commit, like what we are pushing in this commit. So I'll use some initial commit.
So this will describe the commit, right?
Right. So it will describe all the changes which you have done for the backtracking purpose. So you can see afterwards, like what changes we had done in particular commit or particular stage of the code. So I'll go and commit that. So you can see the commit is in master branch. So I'll again see the status. So yeah, right now you are on master branch, but it is saying that your branch is based on origin master, but upstream is gone. Okay. Yeah. So we need to push this changes to the remote repository. So there is one command by which we can see what is the exact remote repository we have cloned over here. So that is git remote hyphen v. So you can see that we have cloned this repository on the local instance, and let's push these changes to the remote repository. So for that, the command is git push origin.
So yeah, Preetham, one thing
Yeah,
before you push it. So when you added the when you run this git commit and -m command, so what essentially git was doing is was pushing those changes to a staging area,
yeah. So
right?
it
And
pushed the changes to the local repository, and we then we'll push that local repository changes to the remote repository. So
right,
for that, we'll use git push. So once you
right,
commit the changes, those are gone into your local repository, but the remote repository is still not updated with your changes. So to do that, you need to push the changes to the remote repository. So the command
yes,
is git push origin master. So master is the branch of the remote repository in which we want to push these changes. So
right.
I'll do that. It will ask me username password of the remote repository. I'll quickly put that.
And also you use the word origin, so it refers to the remote which you are using.
Right,
So you are actually pushing to the origin, so it means uh,
right.
to the remote
So
repository.
yeah, so we can see the push is successful. So let's go ahead and refresh this repository, and we can see that we have done the initial commit. The branch is master branch, and we have got this text file on the repository.
Right.
Yeah. So this is the quick demo of how you can use the GitHub to store your files or to store your repositories. So yeah, that's all. If anyone has any questions, we can discuss.
So here Preetham has shared some details about the Git and how we can manage the repositories, and uh, uh, all our participants are experienced one. They are also having some experience by the use of how the Git flow looks like, workflow looks like. So if they wanted to share their opinion, they wanted to add on something here, they are most welcome to do that. So it looks like that we are good. Anyone is having any question about the Git and GitHub? So like similarly, like we are having GitHub here, and in real development, like you can have your own server in Hotwix. You can also manage your code in the GitLab as well.
Right.
Okay,
So I
there is
think
Yeah, Aditya. Go ahead.
uh,
Yeah.
okay. There is one thing that I think most people are kind of confused. maybe I'm not sure it will be covered in future. Maybe in future uh, sessions. Is that having multiple remotes for any repository? So people are
Yeah.
confused, like what is happening, why there are, what forks are, and how to manage them, and how to create new branches from one fork and push it to another. So that is something uh, many of the developers are confused. So are we going to cover that part also, or is it the something that is part of this?
Yeah. So
I,
yeah, so we are going to cover that. So this is the basic session which we have. So after this, we'll go in advanced sessions one by one. So in that we'll cover this point. Sure.
and even one thing is there, we can also discuss like what's the difference between a GitLab and GitHub. GitLab is
Sure.
also providing a free cloud repository on GitLab.com. So
Yeah.
even we can
Mhm.
provide a
Yeah, we
comparison.
have different providers like Bitbucket is one of them. GitLab is there, and GitHub is there. So there are a lot of vendors which provides their services on Git.
AWS is also providing the Git services.
Right. So yeah, are there any questions? Other questions? Yeah, I think Ashish, we can wrap this session.
So I think we are not having any question. Thank you very much everyone for joining in, and we'll very soon schedule our next session, that is advanced session, where we will be talking about the problems that we are facing in our day-to-day life, and we will be considering the questions from the audience. So thank you very much for everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Pritam. Thanks, Ashish.